Chapter 91. Emergence. Before you decide, let me tell you more. If you choose to stay on Gaia after your mission, there will be many tasks that you and the survivors have to take on. One of them is to help build up the new Gaia population again, or in other words, to give birth to new beings whose souls will come directly from Sunyata for the first time. This new population will have a new genetic code. They will have a longer life expectancy and a brain that works in better harmony with the new magnetic field of Gaia. As a result, humans of the new era will be twice as intelligent than their ancestors. Also, all survivors of the catastrophe will have to cooperate and produce as many new generations as possible. In order to achieve this, the social norms that advocate monogamy will have to be changed. The norm of limiting relationships to only one partner may have to be temporarily suspended for at least 1 to 200 years, or even longer. Because the new Gaia world with its elevated magnetic field will require even more propelling energy, there will be an urgent need to repopulate the world to produce sufficient positive frequency. I estimate that the world in the new era will require at least 3/4 of the current Gaia population to drive Earth forward with stability. The problem is that today very few people in your world know who they are, where they came from, and why they are born on Earth. The few knowledgeable ones that do know make up only about 1% of the population. If this situation does not change before the old era ends, almost the entire Earth's population may die and their souls would never have the opportunity to come back again. This would mean a great loss for the universe. And if the world's population at that time would be less than 1%, the world will be in grave danger. The rotation of the world would become irregular and the magnetic poles of the north and the south would continuously change. The Earth's magnetic field that protects the planet from debris from space will be weakened. Earth's balance will become unstable, endangering the lives of all creatures. It would cause a chain reaction that would have a huge effect on the entire universe system. And that may mean the end of the world, and the end of the entire universe, too. I absolutely can't let that happen. Therefore, the minimum number of people that I need to have in that period of time in the new era should be at least 1/3 of the current total population, or even more. She stopped talking and turned to give me an intense look. I hesitated before asking, "Can I ask you, do you think I will be able to carry out this mission for you? After all, I'm not famous, I'm just an ordinary man, unknown to most people, except to my parents and to a few friends and colleagues. If you speak and act with a heart of pure love, your voice will resonate throughout the world," she answered confidently. I wonder what the world will be like then, I thought out aloud. If everything goes as planned, if you can awaken as many people as possible from the sleep they are in, and your world will be reset to a new beginning. Everyone who survives will live in the ideal world. This new world will no longer have countries, religions, armies, laws, politicians, or terrorists, and it will be free of exploitation. Your new Gaia will be reigned only by peace, love, and goodwill. Everyone will help each other in a joint embrace to create this new society, she answered. I also want to avoid the mistakes of the past in forming this new civilization, as I can't possibly let it run on its own like I did in the past. I want someone with a vision to recreate this world, and that person should be someone who has seen and experienced the prototype world, which is Tuangra. She paused again and gave me a very purposeful look, and I felt that she was suggesting something beyond what she was telling me. The person I need for this task would be the leader for all humankind, one who is capable of leading everyone safely through all dangers during that period of significant changes. He would have to be someone like the one in your past whom you call the prophet, she said. My suspicion was growing and I felt I knew what she was implicating. Now hold on a moment, you're not suggesting that this person should be me, are you? She gave me a long and intense look and was silent for a minute or two. Yes and no. If you choose not to take that role, then you are not. But if you would like to take that responsibility, then you will be him. What if I would choose to go but wouldn't want to be that kind of leader you just described? I asked, weighing my options. That is not possible, she said firmly. But my only wish is to wake people up from their sleep as you asked me to do in the first place. I don't want to be anything more than that, I protested. Don't worry, Tim, she answered gently. Your wish will determine who you are. It doesn't matter if your role is big or small because your determination and action are more important. None of the prophets in the past had wanted to be prophets. But they became who they were naturally, not because they aspired to be great or famous. Again she paused and looked deep into my eyes. After a few moments she said, "So you have decided." I hesitated for a second. I think the way that you have put this across is almost forcing me to accept your wish, isn't it? This is a request from God. I don't think there have been many in the universe who were offered an opportunity as big as this. I think this is the most important mission ever offered to me. If this is your will and if you are convinced that I am the right person, then I simply can't refuse, I said, with a heavy sigh. I consider that as a yes, she said, and I could see that she looked really happy about my decision. Yes, I confirmed in a tone that I hope sounded more confident than I felt. Just as I had spoken that last word, everything suddenly disappeared in a flash. God, who had appeared as that little girl, my childhood bedroom where we both were in, all vanished, leaving only the empty white room that I had entered earlier. The walls that had been softly glowing as if covered with the white glazed tiles had now turned into one bright light, gleaming from all sides. The light was so bright that I again had to shield my eyes with my hands. And then a loud and deep resonant voice that sounded majestic and omnipotent spoke out of nowhere. Only this man paid attention to what I had to say. Now he has emerged and stands in front of you. From now on, he will represent me. May you call him by his new name, Uriah Messiah. After the voice had spoken and the words finally echoed out through the rooms, the entire temple started to gradually fade away. I stood up, turned around and slowly looked around, still numbed by what I had experienced. I was standing on an empty plateau which allowed me to enjoy a panoramic view of the surrounding landscape. I was still stunned for several minutes by what had happened. It was almost morning now and the sky was starting to turn from dark blue into a light shade of pale pink. I felt a cool breeze on my face and body, and it dawned on me that the temple was real, not an illusion, as I hadn't felt this breeze on my skin before the temple disappeared. I started walking slowly back on the path leading down from the top of the mountain. I felt confused about the whole series of events that had unfolded. I was in the dilemma of not being sure whether to be happy, or to regret what I had promised God. Absent-mindedly, I walked down the hill without paying any attention to the surrounding, and oblivious of the beautiful scenery that the rising sun was warmly illuminating. When I arrived at the last step, I found Ruthorn, Pete, and Hep already waiting for me at the foot of the stairway. I am grateful for your decision on behalf of every soul, Uriah Metiah, Ruthorn said, addressing me by the new name that God had given me, before I had the chance to say anything. Yes, I said and looked up in their smiling faces. Thank you, my friends. We too are very thankful, Pete and Hep said in unison.